So, a little while ago on an episode of the podcast that I recorded with some friends, we went into a lengthy conversation about our favorite TV show intros from our childhoods, which were from the late 90s to the 2000s. This eventually devolved into us making tier lists, and while everyone else shared their entire tier lists, I kept the top tier of my list a secret. This video is why. Most of the songs on the proper list were in the S tier of that list. Now, I knew I was going to make this video before we had this conversation, but making that tier kickstarted it into actually happening. Before I start, I do want to say that I am taking nostalgic memories into account when I'm ranking these. If there are some shows that have banger themes that may seem low to you, keep in mind, while I like the theme song, I might not have watched the show an absolute shit ton when I was younger. Anyway, here it is, my top 20 favorite nostalgic TV theme songs. Yeesh, that title's a bit of a mouthful, innit? Okay, this one wasn't on the tier, but it felt wrong for me to make a video about nostalgic TV shows and not mention Barney in there somewhere. Anyone who knows me personally or has been stalking me for the 23 years I've been on this planet knows just how much I loved Barney when I was a kid.
We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
Get your heads out of the sand and face the facts, people. This is a fucking banger of a theme.
The pinky and the brain.
Makes the honorable mentions just for this moment alone.
Is an average kid.
It would probably be on the list proper if I could understand what the fuck the singer was saying. All these years later, and I can still barely pick up more than 5 words. While it's pretty minimalistic, I can't hear it not start to tear up just a little bit. Alright, being from San Francisco, this theme is burned into my head. I promise I don't mean that as a negative thing, it's only there because fuckers are ready to evict you from the city if you don't have it memorized. According to my mom and sister, I watched this show a lot as a kid. I have no recollection of this, but if they're both saying it, then I guess I'll have to take their word for it. A pretty cool twist on the original show that I vibe with like crazy, but it's this low because I just straight didn't watch it when I was younger. While What's New Scooby-Doo is more my speed with my music taste now, I can't deny that this is probably one of the most iconic cartoon themes of all time, and it just felt wrong putting What's New over it. Alright, this was basically just a show that was around before I existed that has a banger theme that I love.
Every day when you're walking down the street.
Another special shout out to my mother and sister for reminding me that I used to love Arthur as a kid. I swear I didn't remember. I feel like it'd be criminal not to. I mean, they have a #1 hit on Billboard for fuck's sake. But in all seriousness, I did love this show. I told myself I would pick themes from shows I actually watched as a kid.
It's time for Animaniacs.
Yeah, needless to say, things didn't turn out that way. I didn't watch a lot of Power Rangers in general, let alone the original, but this theme song is hype as fuck. Alright, I promise from here on out I'll only include themes from shows I actually watched when I was a kid.
There were two scouts who made a friend, and Lazo was his name. O-L-A.
How many of you remember this show? Well, you should, because it had an awesome theme song that I love coming back to. Seeing what Cartoon Network did with the fucking Teen Titans hurt quite a bit. Still stings a bit now these days, but let's not forget what a banger show the original was. You're goddamn right we can. Let me just get my toolbox from under my bed and we can get this shit built. I know the theme carried over to the other series, but since I only really watched the first one, this is the one I'm counting. They just made a comeback and they're touring now, which is incredibly based. I swear this is the only time a rap song ever worked as the theme song for a cartoon. God, did they nail it. I told myself that I wouldn't let a pure nostalgia pick get this high, but I failed. Miserably. I love this theme and I love Thomas the Tank Engine. Train Gang, rise up. Probably the theme song I would be most likely to pick at a karaoke night. No, that does not mean I will go to a karaoke night. Don't get any ideas.
There's 104 days of summer vacation and school comes along.
This was one of 3 of what I like to call my awakening shows that made me want to become an engineer. The other 2 being Jimmy Neutron and Bob the Builder.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
I mean, SpongeBob references are pretty much half my vernacular these days. It'd be dumb to have it outside the top 3. While I reference SpongeBob a lot, Pokemon was pretty much my entire life. For like 6 or 7 years. It'd just be wrong to put it anywhere else. Well, that's it. Keep in mind that just because I didn't mention a show from that time period, I probably just didn't watch it. I fucking love TV show intros, especially cartoon intros, so it's very unlikely that I didn't like it. One last special shout out to my mother and sister for sitting down and helping me jog my memory with some of these entries. Anyway, I'm gonna put a cap on this before I start to ramble. I'll be back next week to start the next discography review series. I'll see you guys then.